Hola clase. Today we're going to be talking about mandatos, also known as commands. When working with mandatos, the main thing you have to do is keep the stem of the verb. So hablar would become habla. It's pretty simple. Whenever we are using AR verbs, for the affirmative, all we do is add a to the end of the stem. And for ER-IR for affirmative, all we do is add a to the stem. If we're doing negative for AR-IR, all we do is add ace to the end. If we're doing with an ER-IR, then we have to add as to the end. Let's go over some examples. Don't talk would be no hables. Run would be corre. Cook would be cocina. And don't eat would be no comas. Like most verbs, there are irregulares. We both have affirmative and negative. Our irregulares are venir, decir, salir, hacer, tener, ir, poner, and ser. An easy way to remember the affirmative ones is vendizo has ten veponse. There's not really an easy way to remember the negative ones, you just have to learn them. So venir, our affirmative is ven, and our negative is no vengas. Our affirmative for decir is di, and our negative is no digas. Our affirmative for salir is sal, and our negative is no salgas. Our affirmative for hacer is as, and our negative is no hagas. Affirmative for tener is ten. Our negative is no tengas. Our affirmative for ir is ve, and our negative is no vayas. Our affirmative for poner is pon, and our negative is no pongas. Our affirmative for ser is se, and our negative is no sea. Next up we have car, dar, zar verbs. Probably the hardest part in learning mandatos. So whenever we have words that end with car, tar, it'll usually end up being k. And whenever we have verbs that ends with gar, it'll end up being gay, and zar will end up being se. So take the word tocar, for example. It would end up being no toques, and jugar would end up being no juegues, and the verb almorzar would end up being no almuerces. Gracias clase por escuchar mi video. Adiós y hasta pronto.